Hello my precious cinnamon rolls, my name is Phoephoe and I'm here back again playing Loren the Amazon Princess, and gonna go into camp. The heat was sweltering. Across our own, Eleanor was experiencing new weather that she had never experienced before. Upon the cool mountain of the citadel, sticky, hot air blazing across her skin was new. Not even the wind gave her relief. So she doesn't come from a hot climate, but she still dresses like that. Okay. It was unusually hot for the others as well, Loren and Karen especially. Well, you could always take off another layer. How do people function under the sun? The suns of the citadel and all kind. It says we should travel to find a new sun. Draco says it's so hot, so hot. Dora says, big baby, I don't even feel it. Dora wiped a large amount of sweat from her forehead. I keep thinking about the lake near my. It looks so refreshing. Dora says, lake? They paused all thinking the same thing at the same time. Draco says, lake. Draco and Dora shot away from Eleanor towards the water. Eleanor moved to follow them, but then saw they were all mustering all the campers to join them, and they were accepting. Chambara stood up next to her with a devious look. Are you coming to the lake, sweetheart? I thought of bathing when Chambara. Someone needs to stay and guard the camp. Chambara looked a little put out. How did I know you were going to say that? Spoil spot. I'll have to describe it to you later. Eleanor sighed, having missed her chance for a cool down. She stood on guard in hopes of going to the lake after someone returned. That was the only thought she could think of as the sun beat down on her. As close as her head went fuzzy, the air was choking her, she swayed in place, and her hand held her steady and a remarkably cool sensation enveloped her head. Eleanor perked up and felt the wet cloth around her neck. She looked over her shoulder to see the blue elf standing right behind her. None of you would last in the desert. Eleanor smiled, seeing how well Mesphit was handling the heat. It's that blue skin, yeah. The damp cloth on his neck was working magic. She touched it in gratitude. I appreciate your help, thank. Eleanor felt Mesphit's head over her shoulder, taking an almost silent breath of air. Eleanor spun around and placed a hand against Mesphit to keep him away. What was that? Mesphit didn't look guilty of anything, only stared at Eleanor with some interest. Where does your scent come from? Eleanor's mouth dropped, but nothing came up. You don't smell like anyone I know. Eleanor finally removed a hand from Mesphit's chest, realising he meant no harm and was only smelling her. It was behaviour she'd never encountered before. Smell? Well, I've never considered my smell before. I don't smell like mirth or ray. I don't come from a forest. You must be smelling lavender oils. It says lavender, a flower. That is not the scent of flowers. As it leaned in again, Eleanor tensed. I smell a city made of stone and mud, fresh killed, cleaned and cooked with fire. But also fruit. He could really smell that well. Eleanor says, wine vineyards. They're describing the Amazon citadel. So it says your home. Eleanor was about to answer yes, but her mind hung on the world. The citadel was where she lived and grew up. But home? Eleanor says, I am a slave there. Mesphit took Eleanor in for a second time. Are there many slaves like you? Mesphit listened without any emotion as Eleanor explained Amazon culture to him in the best details she could. She described the slavery of men, no matter their birth, and how they were used for procreation and labour. Eleanor tried to explain how she willingly put herself into their service, and that she was sure that she would have died had she not indentured herself. I could have chosen death at any time, but I didn't. I chose this. I held on to that fact, and I get through every day. Mesphit stood in Eleanor even further until he finally raised his chin. Injustice plagues all land, I see, not just the dark elves. Eleanor's eyes lowered. Mesphit saw her life as insurance. He had never considered her life that way. Unfortunately. Mesphit said, will you return to the lake after everyone else? Eleanor questioned, but it hadn't been exactly her plans. If I'm allowed. Mesphit stepped closer. Until then. Mesphit took the wet rug from Eleanor's neck and slid his blue hand under Eleanor's chin to lift her face to the sky. Eleanor's breathing stopped at the feel of him. His fingers were calloused, but his touch was surprisingly gentle and so refreshingly cool. She closed her eyes from the sensation. Droplets of water struck Eleanor's face as Mesphit squeezed the cloth above her head. Eleanor gasped. It soon felt wonderful how the droplets fell back into her hair or trailed down her face. She had almost forgotten that Mesphit was there until his touch disappeared. Eleanor's eyes flooded open and she found Mesphit staring down at her intently. Stay in the shade. The wet cloth kept Eleanor cool long after it had gone, but the prospect of the lake was still too enticing. When all the others had returned from the excursion, Eleanor excused herself to the lake to enjoy it privately. But the water never felt as refreshing as Mesphit's hands to her skin. Oh gosh. Let's have a look-see then. So we got Ray and Am and Kiki maxed out. We got 4 hearts of Karen, 4 hearts from Mesphit, 3 with Chambara. We don't have any hearts with Loren somehow. I don't know how I managed that. What I wanted to do was look at my inventory and my quests to get a reminder. Stop the Barbarian in Horus, stop the Succubus near the Grand Tree, save the Scouts in the Castle of Amar. Well, I think that Nemnar is the main one, so I'm just going to save my game again. We're going to Horus. Just fight the random encounter.
Stand aside!
Nice and easy.
Nothing has changed.
The city of Horus was in flames. Wives screamed for their children to safety, and the men rushed to douse the fires that were destroying their homes. In the middle of the chaos was General Samael and a handful of Imperial soldiers directing the relief effort. Loren and Eleanor ran up to him. Loren says, "Are we too late?" Eleanor says, "About time we showed up. Now maybe someone can save the city. What's left of it anyway?" Loren says, "Who did this? Where are they?" Samael says, "An army of orcs. We were able to turn them away, but they are circling back around for another attempt to raise Horus to the ground." Loren says, "Orcs, you say? An army of them?" Samael says, "And demons." The world warranted a scowl from everyone in the party. They says, "How is that possible? The orcs are tribal creatures like the nomads." Everyone looked at Mokiki, well aware that he had deep insight into nomadic folklore. Mokiki says, "It's well known that clans unite on a single banner when a great hero presents himself." Famila says, "That sounds about right. They're being led by a foul barbarian who's probably the great hero you mentioned." And Mokiki almost wins from hearing his people called barbarians, but in the company of orcs he could not deny that whoever led them was most likely worthy of the term. Dora says, Does he have a scar over one of his eyes?" Samuel evaluated the dwarven girl for a moment. "He does." She went silent and turned away. And unsheathed her sword the next moment. "Then let's take his head and scatter those orcs across the plains." And says, "Princess Loren, is it such a good idea to rush headlong first into an army like this?" Thomas says, "You have to look for an alternative strategy, because meeting them on the battlefield will only get you all killed. There are too many of them, even for me." Loren says, "Are we just supposed to parley with these things?" Loren says, "Don't worry, I'll think of a plan for us. For now, we should help out the town." Loren nodded reluctantly, but then she did just that. Eleanor was left to come up with another way of stopping the orcs. She decided that she should start by talking with the party members, since some of them knew about who they were there. Since some knew about who they were about to face. God, that was an awkward sentence. Camp. Karen was sitting by the campfire in her usual regal way. Eleanor was fearful of approaching her, taking quiet, tiny steps towards her. She was only a servant after all, and the wrath in the Queen's eye had not left her memory yet. In her hands she clutched a wooden straw ornament fixed with leaves. It was unattractive to common eyes, but Eleanor knew that what it stood for made up for appearances. Now, standing behind Karen, Eleanor made up her mind to finally address her. It took most of her willpower. Your Majesty." Karen straightened but did not turn around. "What is it?" Humbly, Eleanor shuffled from behind Karen and stood in front of her. She bowed her head and held out the craft in her hands almost too abruptly. Karen leaned back in surprise, and silence filled the space between them. "This is a charm. The elves at the citadel had them hanging where they slept. They told me that it is a sorrow ward. It's supposed to chase away sad thoughts." Karen's eyes fell from Eleanor's and she surveyed the trinket. "I made this. I tried to mirror the design, even though I'm sure it's not perfect. It's supposed to be a gift to you, but I knew you'd not accept it, so I'll hang it from the tree closest to your tent in hopes." Karen says no. Eleanor swallowed, realizing just how nervous she truly was. "If it is my charm, then I should hang it in my tent. Isn't that how it works?" She's almost too stunned to respond. Eleanor managed to nod fervently, letting a smile escape. Karen took the sorrow clutcher from her hands and turned it over curiously. "I've seen these around the citadel, and I wonder what they were." "The elves made them, you say?" Eleanor says, "Yes, mistress. They are an ancient custom of the forest elves." "And you made this one?" Eleanor stood straight with pride, smiling widely now. "Yes. I am sure that it works." The earnestness of this statement was nothing that Eleanor had expected, and she felt her face flush almost immediately. Well, the Amazons have a custom as well. It said, if you see a black moon beetle, you'll have good luck in battle. She held up the sorrow wand and smirked. "This looks just like a black moon beetle." Eleanor says, "Truly, I never thought it would look like anything pleasant, let alone such a good omen." They stared at each other for a moment, and then burst into laughter. They laughed deep from the pit of their bellies. Karen's laugh was refined but oddly melodic. When their laughter died down, their smiles could not be moved from their faces. Karen says, "This is already working." Karen stood, and Eleanor almost lost her breath from her height. "Thank you." "Think nothing of it, my queen." Karen gave her a look over her shoulder before retiring to her tent, where Eleanor was safe in the knowledge that the ward was being hung. The thought made her happy. Giddy even, she smiled all the way to bed. So yeah, we got her maxed out as well. Nice. Who are we talking? Dora? Dora said, "What?" Eleanor said, "I'm sorry, what's wrong? You look nervous about something." "I ain't acting weird, you're just imagining things, I swear." Eleanor says, "That's so, then how come you know the barbarian had a scar over his eye? You know something about him and I need to know it." Dora says, "I just know about him, that's it." "Is he infamous where you come from then?" Her face contorted into a rare shade of anger. "Something like that, yeah." "What can you tell me about him then?" "He deserved to die." There was a moment of silence after she said it. She meant her words entirely, and that took Eleanor by surprise. "Why?" "He's a murderer." She blinked rapidly and looked away. So, of course. Did you kill someone you knew? Her eyes lowered even further and she drew an initiative breath. Not just someone. Everyone. What? That's... I know. Awful, sad, just downright unfortunate. If I waste too much time thinking about what happened, I'll just go crazy. Eleanor says, you have to tell me what happened. Why? No. Dora says, I have to know everything about him if we're going to take him down. She was quiet for a very long moment, battling herself from wanting to help to get rid of this barbarian, also not wanting to relive what horror he held for her. He was just passing through. My family offered him our home because no one in town wanted it. We gave him Papa's bed for the night, but then he wanted Papa's sword too, but Papa wouldn't let him, so he just... And well, what do you think? Everyone tried to stop him, but he was unstoppable. That's all that can be said. Dora says, I'm hungry. She quickly wiped one of her eyes and left the campfire without another word. On my tragic soul, Eleanor learned that Krull was a dishonest person who only cared about getting what he wanted. And he was also a frighteningly formidable opponent. You got nothing else to say? Opponent says, so you are formulating a plan to rid Horus of the barbarian. Have you tried speaking with Amonkiki? Is they their kind? And so that's a good idea. Let's get to it. Oh, that shall be useful, thank you. Amonkiki says, you wish to know more about my culture. Yes, are the Orcs truly similar to the nomads? Amonkiki says, in some ways, not at all. Orcs live in groups like clans, but there are no real leaders outside of an alpha who gets his way. Oh, not alphas. But I've seen separate clans fall under the authority of a single alpha who has not only strength. Eleanor says, what else besides strength? Intelligence. So Krull has united these Orcs because he's not only deadly but smart. This is going to be much more difficult than I thought. Amonkiki says you're considering battle with them. Eleanor says our choices are limited. You cannot fight them all and plan to survive. I haven't forgotten. What do you suggest? Getting rid of the army. Eleanor says that is not helpful. Eleanor was able to take her new knowledge of the Orcs and use it to her advantage. If the Orcs were following Krull because of a great leader, she only proved that he was not that great after all. No, you've got nothing to say. Eleanor says, what do you think of Krull? Draco says, well, what kind of question is that? You're so forward. Just because he's a nomad, he'll be tall, and have huge muscles and be handsome. He's evil, right? I can't think of his attractive. Not that I do, because I'll be wrong so very, very. Draco says you're asking about battle plans. Were you? Eleanor says, no, it's my fault. I will be more clear next time. Oh, he's blushing. I'm going to go hide under a rock now. Bye. No, okay. Eleanor start that again. Eleanor caught Amonkiki watching her as she left the forest, laughing at Karen. The gladiator's look was not hostile and almost wounded. Eleanor's smile dropped immediately. Karen parted ways, allowing Eleanor to approach Amonkiki, even though the gladiator quickly turned away. Can I help you? Amonkiki says, do not fret, I do not care how your culture selects its mating partners. Eleanor says, me, what? Amonkiki says, I cannot be bored playing with my words. Is that what you think I'm doing with Karen? As I said, I'm not familiar with your customs and I don't wish to be. Then why remark on my behaviour at all? Because you were worthy of more. Eleanor says, more what? If you were a nomad, you could choose from the great warriors and bring your clan order from such mighty kin. Eleanor says, you don't consider Karen a great warrior? Amonkiki was silent for a moment. You are worthy of a man. What? Ask about nomad tradition. If I were a nomad, how would I coordinate? Amonkiki was thrown off by the question. He had to think about it for a moment. You would speak to their clan leader. I see why you're confused about other cultures mating rituals. Yours have none. If you do, it's put in motion by the clan leader. And if a monarch did not have a clan? Eleanor looked into Amonkiki's eyes. Then the nomad would be free to do as he wishes. They were silent for a while and Eleanor turned away. That's how it should be. Amonkiki was quiet when she left. Does he have anything else to say? You watch me. Eleanor jumped and started to flush over immediately. Oh, what? I have seen you many times. Many times what? Watch me. Eleanor's blood turned ice cold as she tried to recall if she had been truly spying on Amonkiki. Unfortunately, her memory recalled several moments when she had watched Amonkiki train or eat or even just stand around. She hadn't thought it was noticeable, however. Do you not trust me? Remark of attractiveness. You must have had many women at your disposal in Glenmore. Amonkiki stood straight and dropped his hand to his side. His lack of reply made Eleanor feel suddenly awkward. Was that inappropriate to say? Amonkiki says, I am not certain if my culture does not... The gladiator was not expecting such an answer and was no longer confident in his speech, as was Eleanor. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so sorry I said that. Oh, excuse me. Eleanor turned away to leave. Amonkiki says, She stopped, feeling a shiver go down her spine, but she was too humiliated to face Amonkiki, so Eleanor ignored him and briskly walked away. Well, we can't max it out any further. Amonkiki says nothing. I'm just trying to learn about this guy, Krull, whatever he's called. Ramos says, Dora, look after you, is it just me? Eleanor says, I was going to ask you the same thing. She looks troubled. Yeah, she's been acting strange since we left the Amazon place, looking all distant. Eleanor nodded, but she already knew what was bothering her. The axe is getting restless. He's got nothing to say. Loren, we should be focused on our battle with Krull. I'm working on it, Mom. Mer says, is there no way we can solve the problem of Horus without violence? Alma says, it's unlikely. I said, I was afraid of that. Do you have any ideas? I said, shouldn't we try to appeal to them first? If they're not all demons, they have something else driving them. There had to be a way to get them to leave without fighting them all. Have you learned anything that you... have you learned all that you can about our enemy yet? I'm still looking into it. Do you have any ideas? Aaron says, yes, ask someone else for ideas. Yes, Majesty. That's really useful, thanks. Ray says, that barbarian that the General described. Eleanor says, yes, what about him? I know him, actually. Eleanor says, not simply know of him? Not quite, he was once a sword for hire. The elves often recruit mercenaries to help escort caravans outside the forest. I take it you were a mercenary, too. Ray says, I remember this barbarian called because he had the most garish scar across his face. He was a one-eyed swordsman, and that fascinated me. He's blind in one eye. Precisely, but there's no disadvantage. He's a complete master in battle. Actually, I feel what the world would be like if he had a full pair. Eleanor says, you have a familiar gleam in your eyes. Why are you so interested in him? There isn't much to admire about him. What's worth even more admiration is the masterful elf that manages to take him down. Eleanor says, here's another challenge for you. Ray says, but it is more than him simply being an obstacle to conquer. I have not yet finished my story. Ray continues, I and the other mercenaries were escorting a caravan to the Hammerlands, but we were ambushed. The troubling thing about Krull is that he did not fend off the ambushes. It said, ambushes? Ambush doesn't sound right, does it? Instead, when it was clear that some carts would be captured, he switched sides completely. I says, what? He set up the ambush? Believe it or not, I don't think so. He fought as many bandits as he did mercenaries yesterday. I think he just saw an opportunity to take advantage of the situation. If you ask me, that is typical barbaric behaviour, but he has no mercy in him. The workers are in the habit of surrendering their good in exchange for their lives. Krull took both. Eleanor was disgusted. A warrior who does not accept someone's surrender is honourless. She did learn that Krull would take advantage of a situation if it presented itself. Chebo says, no, I don't know anything about the barbarian, all those orcs, you can leave them alone. Eleanor says, you don't even have any suggestions for a plan? I have a million suggestions, they're all about you leave me alone. Very well, no need to be rude. So it says, do you know anything about Eleanor says to Mesphit even, do you know anything about the orcs or the barbarian? Any hints you can give me? Mesphit says, kill him, they said brutally. Is that your answer to everything? I'm trying to find a way to avoid fighting. You can't avoid it. He wants to fight and he will get that fight. So when he does fight, kill him, brutally. This is a delightful person. So it says, you seek a non-violent resolution to this orc situation, don't you? And says, yes I do. There are those you can talk about things with, and there are those who need a good punch to the face to sort out. In my opinion, the barbarian is the second type. Loren? Eleanor quickly found Loren to tell her everything she just learned. Together they conspired a plan to draw Krull away from his horde. She ordered everyone out to the outskirts of Horus as soon as possible. The orc army was in their destination. They need only fight enough to get Krull's attention. As on the other occasions, they could retreat and camp, but their enemies would become stronger in the next fight. Alright, I'm going to save the game. And I'm going to end this episode here before we start attacking everything. Hi, this is Phoephoe. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, comment, and if you really liked it, please subscribe.